Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my June update in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan. I am so excited to be here with you today sharing this update because we have finally hit a pan in this project. I'm finally starting to see some progress and success in my project pans this year, which I'm super excited about. So I will definitely be sharing that with you today. We get to pick a new eyeshadow. We're gonna have a new quintet of shadows, which means I'm gonna do an eyeshadow look with all 5 of them at the end of this video. So definitely a good update for this project. So if you're excited or if you've been following along and you're happy that I finally hit a pan, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's jump in to how this project works. So at the beginning of the year, I used this like pretty random app on my phone to randomly select 5 eyeshadows from my collection to work on. I'm working on those eyeshadows until I hit pan on them, or I have the option of rolling them out once I hit 20 uses. I've not done that for any of them. I have stuck through it for the last several months and I finally hit a pan, so I get to roll that shadow out and I randomly select a new one to roll in its place, and then I work on those eyeshadows until I hit pan. I keep track of everything kind of a few ways. So I track usage in this notebook throughout the month, and then at these updates I show clips of how the eyeshadow has changed based on how many times I've used it, so you can kind of see progress visually that way. And then I also track like all of my eyeshadows and everything in my collection in a spreadsheet. I have my computer right behind me, so I'm looking at it right now, and I tracked my pan percentage in this as well, which I find very interesting for this particular project. So I will go ahead and share those numbers right now. As of June 2024, I have 248 eyeshadows in my collection. 14 of those are single shadows and 226 of those are across 13 different palettes. I now have 31 pans in my collection, so I've hit pan on 31 different eyeshadows, which brings my pan percentage from last month, which was 12.09%, to 12.5%. So super excited about that. We are moving up in that pan percentage bucket, and now I have 217 eyeshadows that are eligible to be rolled into this project. So that is it. Without further ado, let's get into the update and talk about the eyeshadows that I've been wearing this month, and we'll definitely talk about the one that I hit pan on as well. Starting with a not so exciting update, the shadow coming from my Huda Beauty Empowered palette. This one right here called Get It, I only used once. I've barely been touching this shadow, to be honest. I don't have much to say about it other than I just did not focus on it this month. I knew that I was close on one eyeshadow, and so I put the majority of my uses towards that, and then once I hit pan on that, kind of touched some of my other ones, but this one was not a priority this month, and so I used it once and that was it. And I really haven't been that into that eyeshadow across this entire project. My usage on that one's pretty low, so unfortunately it just kind of continues the same. The next shadow that I want to talk about comes from my Jaclyn Hill Volume 1 palette. Is the shade right here called Hillster. I used this 2 times this month as liner. I'm wearing it as liner today, and I really enjoy it like that. So I was struggling to use this shadow throughout the last few months just because I feel like it's just not the type of shadow that I'm currently going for. I'm not wearing a ton of eyeshadow as much, and it's a little dark, it's a little grungy, and so I wasn't 100% sure of like how I was gonna wear it, but I actually do enjoy it just wearing it as like a liner. I feel like it makes the green in my eyes pop, and I really just like how it looks, and it's an easy way to wear it and get some usage on it. So starting to see a little bit of usage in that pan where I've been dipping my liner brush, so excited about that. And I'm honestly excited that I found a way that I enjoy using that shadow. So we'll definitely continue with that. The next shadow I want to talk about, I only got 2 uses on as well. Not because I don't love this one, but because I was focused elsewhere. But this is probably my favorite eyeshadow in this project. It is Metro, coming from my ABH Nouveau palette. I just really like the shade of this matte, and I enjoy wearing this in my crease. I enjoy wearing it on its own. I really like wearing it with this Floor shade. I think this is a pretty shade, so I'll dip a little bit in both and just kind of put that all over my lid, and that's been an easy way for me to wear this shadow. And 2 uses sounds bad, but honestly, like, I think I'll be picking up more uses of this in the coming months just because I'm not as focused on a couple of shades in this palette. So this palette has the exciting update, but we will start with the less exciting update, and that is this shade right here called Edges. So I wore this 3 times this month, and my dip in this one is definitely getting pretty deep, and so I'm excited to just continue making progress on this one. I think that continuing to use this regularly, hopefully a little bit more than 3 times a month, I will hit pan on this relatively soon. And then the exciting update, and you might have already seen it, is also coming from this palette, and it is this shade right here called Shookington. I used this 5 times this month, and I have hit pan on it. Really excited about that. I've used it pretty much exclusively as liner the last few months, and have just been able to continue dipping in the same spot, and I've successfully hit pan. I really actually enjoyed wearing it as liner, but to be honest, like, the purple wasn't my favorite color, so I am really excited that I'm getting to roll this one out. But it worked for what it needed to do. It was a pretty shade, and now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pans in this palette, and we're working on pan number 5 with Edges. So super excited, love this palette, love seeing all the usage in here, and so happy to have hit another pan and get to roll that one out and get to select a new shade to roll in. So not a ton of progress across the board, but enough to be able to roll a shade out of this project, and steady progress on all of my other shades. I definitely decided that I was going to focus on Shookington this month to hit pan, and so was super excited when I did, and then I kind of started using some of the other shades a little bit more. I know that's not always the best way to project pan, but I needed a win this month. I really needed a win, and so I needed to hit pan on that shade, and we did it. So I can't complain. I'm very happy with this update, and yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of the update. I think now we can jump into selecting a new eyeshadow, which is super exciting. All right, my app has selected 207, so let's go see what that is. The new shade is coming from a palette that's already in this project. That's not surprising, although it does make it easier. And the shade that I selected is the shade Isle right here, which is actually a shade that I love using from this palette. So I'm honestly pretty excited about this roll-in, and the fact that I have so many mattes that I got another shimmer, I'm excited about that as well. I think this one will be relatively easy to use. I already, if you can see, have a little bit of progress on this one from just naturally dipping into it when I'm using this palette. So hopefully I'll be able to continue that and get some good uses on that and get another pan across this project. Like I said at the beginning of this video, stick around. What you'll see next is me filming my makeup and using all 5 of these shades to do so. So definitely watch that part of this video, and I will talk to you in a second. Hello friends, it is a couple days later. I have a new tree in my background, and my hair's wet because I just went to Orange Theory, and then I came home, took a shower, and now I'm quickly getting ready. We are heading to our friend's 2-year-old son's birthday party, and I was like, oh, I'm getting ready. I need to film the second part of this video. And so here I am, a little bit flustered, but ready to go. So first thing I'm gonna do is prime. I'm searching for my primer. I need to prime because otherwise I will get creasing on these hooded lids. I'm like on the last little bit of this primer, which is exciting. Not panning it, but just using it up naturally, you know. All right, I think I'm gonna start first with Get It and just put that in. Oh, I should probably grab my mirror instead of using my viewfinder and put that in my upper crease. Just very lightly. Next, I'm gonna go in with Metro, and I'm gonna put that in my crease and in my outer corner a little bit. Okay, I just spent a while blending. Grabbing a little bit more precise of a brush, I'm going to grab Edges and focus this really on kind of like the outer corner lower lash line. I'm gonna put it down with this brush, kind of exactly where I want it. And then I'm gonna go back in with my blending brush and spend a while kind of blending this out. All right, 3 shades down already. Definitely a perk of having so many mattes. Next, I'm gonna take this shade right here called Isle. This is the one that I just rolled in, super pretty. And I'm gonna put this one all over the lid, except for my inner corner. And I guess I didn't go all the way to the outer corner. So really I'm just putting this in the center of the lid. I'm gonna blend this a little bit. All right, and then this shade is not in this project, but I love it, Paloma. and I'm gonna put this one in the inner corner. Last shade comes from my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette volume 1, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pick it up on my liner brush, and I'm just going to put it, this is Hilster, in my very outer corner and just do a little bit of a wing. And then for my lower lash line, I don't want to do anything too harsh, so I'm actually going to grab another shade that's not in this project. This is Fleur from my ABH Nouveau palette. And I'm just going to lightly blend that along my lower lash line. I have this Trustique like shadow stick in my Shop My Stash project pan, so I'm just going to place that in the inner corner. And while this is probably more eye makeup than I would typically wear to a 2-year-old's birthday party, I do still feel like it is pretty light, not too crazy, which I appreciate these days. If you heard me talk about that in my last video of these. So I'm actually quite happy with how it's looking. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my makeup, and then I'll be back on to show you all the final look. This is the final makeup look. I'm actually very pleased with how it came out. My hair is just going to be going up in a clip because I have an 8-month-old son who loves to grab it if it's down. So ignore the hair for this final look, but I'm actually quite pleased with how my makeup turned out. I was a little worried having to use all 5 shades if like my eye makeup would be a little too intense for, you know, a during the day birthday party, but I don't think it is actually, and I'm actually enjoying this look. Like I might wear all 5 shades again like this, maybe, we'll see. But yeah, I am happy with how this turned out. I hope all of you enjoyed this video and just getting to see my new pan and the new shade I selected, and then obviously adding this part of the video back in. I hope you enjoyed. I am loving the background with the tree, and then I added some hanging plants over here, but you can see them in the mirror right there. So yeah, I'm also loving the background right now. I'm like a little bit all over the place. Not sure why, just got a lot of energy, I guess. But yeah, I hope all of you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope all of you are doing well and staying safe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.